Hello guys, Bass Fisher 0420 in. Just giving you guys a little quick update on bait selection. When it comes to choosing the right kind of bait to catch the bass, you kind of have to consider multiple things. Number one, you have to consider water clarity. Number two, you have to consider the water temperature. And three, the most important one, is what they're feeding on. Based on what they're feeding on is how you will key your success in catching these little green monsters. Me personally, I like to catch them on anything that I can possibly think of. I try to have my bait presentable and ready at all times. Also to make sure that way I can go ahead and pick the right one for the job. Now, picking the right one for the job is not exactly easy either. Right in front of me, I actually got 3 examples that show exactly which baits are the best ones to use for catching largemouth bass. You got 3 types of baits. I'm going to pick them up right now to show you guys exactly which ones are the ones that are most likely used. I'll start off with this one right here. Right here is a Zoom Super Fluke. It's got this very nice shaped body right over here, resembles that of a minnow. And what this does is that when you toss this in the water, whether it's weighted or weightless, I actually got different colors of these, but for now, for showcase, we're just going to go ahead and pick a different random color. You can pair this up with a jig head or with any size hook. Preferably, I like to use a 3/0 laser sharp red hook. Red because it's distinctive. It kind of stands out in the water. And these guys will see this coming. And when it's weightless, it literally gives off that action, that nice little swimming action that you would expect a regular bait fish to do. This is kind of what it does. The faster you reel it in, the faster you're going to get that result. It's pretty good bait. Season-wise, I would say more around the lines of the fall is where you're most likely to see this one out on the water. Pretty interesting stuff. In case you guys decide to go ahead and try it out, feel free. It's made by Zoom, and these guys are pretty awesome experts at making these shads. It's pretty awesome stuff. Also, if you notice right here, they got that nice little slit opening right there. That way you can Texas rig it, or Carolina rig it, or just insert it right through the nose. Pretty awesome stuff. It looks good, it feels good, it's a great, strong, soft plastic. I highly recommend getting it. It's pretty awesome stuff. Now, moving on. The next bait in our presentation over here that we have is lizards. Bass love to eat these little babies. Whether it's a green, yellow, blue, black, pink, it doesn't matter. They just, sorry, I apologize. They just love to catch these little babies. I can smell from here. This right here, this lizard right here, and I'm going to go ahead and step back just a little bit. These lizards right here are pretty much useful for other times. Sometimes I do see lizards out in the water, and the bass actually do feed off of these, and they'll bite them. What these have that definitely make them stand out from most other baits is basically these actually have the flapping arms and legs, as well as a little swirly tail at the end right there that literally entices and grabs their attention. And once they see that, they'll literally launch themselves right at it. So it's a pretty good lure. Also, it's just incredibly flexible, and believe it or not, it is insanely light compared to the Super Fluke here. This one, pretty light, and that's a good thing. And this lizard right over here is made by one of the companies, one of the very first companies that I used when I started fishing. And that company is called Yum. Started feeding frenzy. This bait in general definitely does start like a feeding frenzy because it is absolutely amazing. And right over here, it says live prey technology. It's very impregnated with salt. It's impregnated with salt, which kind of gives off that nice little edge right there that the bass likes to just fish for. And according to this chart right over here, other traditional soft baits will catch you a fish. With the fish meal based ones, they'll catch you a greater percentage. But the Yum LPT, which is a mix of both worlds if you think about it, definitely catches you a consistent amount of fish. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it be bass or walleye or muskie, they'll bite this and they will not let go either. The only time they'll actually let go is when they feel you set the hook and you start playing with them as you reel them inside to your boat. Anyway, now, one of my final baits that I would like to talk about today is the one bait that is definitely used all year round and even comes in more color combinations than lizards or flukes combined. And that is the worm. Yes, it's an orange-black worm. This is Bass Pro Shops. Pretty good. And these are the ones that literally set them off. This is the original silver tuna king of catching fish, whether it be bass, walleye, muskie, even trout, tarpon, does not matter. They like to feed off of shads, minnows, and worms. Worms are the only ones that definitely can go all year round. You can literally get a set of these at Bass Pro Shops for like $3 flat, depending on how many you get and depending on which quality brand you get. Bass Pro Shops one, I got this for $2.99. Comes in the pack of 20. Yeah, they're all in that bag, and they're pretty good. I only caught a little one with this one once. Usually, when it comes to dark colored baits, it's always going to be something that definitely catches their eye. So if you throw something like this out there and it sticks out, most likely he'll either follow it or eat it. So it's always a pretty good bait to have. There's absolutely nothing wrong with different kinds of baits because each one has a different purpose. But you gotta remember the most important thing about bass fishing. Basically, your whole tackle box is like a giant menu for them. And your job is to make sure that you figure out what to give them. Okay? Discover what they're feeding on. Take into great note the water temperature, the water clarity, and exactly what it is that they're feeding on, and try to imitate that, whether it be a crankbait, a spinnerbait, any soft plastic in general, and use that as a means to literally imitate it, and before you know it, you got yourself a fish. Once you find out what they want, it's all going to be water under the bridge for you, and you're going to have a blast catching any size bass you could possibly think of. This is BassFisher0420. Hope you guys enjoyed this little pep talk that I just had, aka a review of all the of 3 different kinds of baits that I have in my tackle box, and I hope to see you guys out there on the water.